Joining us now are Tom and Adele Bearup. Tom, Adele, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Sorry to say we have to meet in circumstances like this, but we want to get your stories. Tom, I understand you were the chief executive officer.
Yes.
Under or aside of Sheriff Joe Arpaio for a number of years or something?
That's right.
You want to go ahead and tell us what some of your stories?
I can be very candid with you, Ray. I went there and I was a strong supporter of Joe. I believed in what he was telling me he wanted to do. I'd been in law enforcement for a number of years, and he was with the DEA, and I knew him from those days when I was at the sheriff's office previously. And so it was a situation to where I thought that the man that I was going to support was somebody that was pro-law enforcement, but not vindictive. I never looked at him as a vindictive person at that point.
Don't mean to interrupt, but when you say pro-law enforcement, pro-officers and pro-law enforcement,
right.
But not so much. What was his outlook when you first started working for him? You said you supported him. What did he express to you that we're going to do with the community?
Well, he told me, and in fact he signed a document saying he was only going to run for one term. And so that was the agreement that we had, and I had signed somebody else up that was going to come in. It was going to hopefully run the next time after one term. But Joe basically got the power and it went to his head. He became a monster.
You saw it happen?
I watched it. I watched it, and I decided after I had had enough that I couldn't wear a badge, do the job that I believed in doing, protecting the citizens of this county.
Right.
I didn't like the rhetoric. I didn't like the things that were going on, the publicity. Although being an elected official, he had to have publicity. I was in charge of communication. Okay. My goal was to make him a household word. We did that.
In a positive light, though.
In a positive light. Put bad guys in jail, not go after innocent people, and to go and to destroy their lives to try to do the things that Joe is trying to do to my wife and I and my family and many, many others that I've met in the past.
Yeah, we can touch on any of the highlights you want to explain to us, because let's get into some of the stories that you want to share with us.
I want to confess right up front. I was a strong supporter. I was probably his strongest supporter.
Nothing wrong with that.
What I did not agree with was whenever Scott Norberg died in our custody. I was the highest ranking guy that was notified. They called me. I called the sheriff, told him that he had died in our custody. I was told we had never stunned him. I was told that he had superhuman strength and he was throwing people around. And through the course of an investigation that I started basically after that, in looking at the disparity in testimony within our own office,
right,
and somebody leaving autopsy reports, photos on my desk. I have no idea today who did that. This kid was black and blue all over.
We've talked with people that were on that scene and the attorney for that case. I've heard some of the torture. It's actually torture what they did to that kid.
It was.
The towel around his neck, in a restraint chair, bent over. I mean, there's all kinds of ways that he possibly died, but he died.
Well, everything was being run through me, and I would notify Joe. And there's a purpose for that, because if our employees of any time had an opportunity to appeal, if there was something that we found internally that they did wrong, they would have a direct appeal to the sheriff. So I wanted to isolate him from anything.
Sure.
Then all of a sudden I noticed that the detectives were going around me to the sheriff himself.
They've had a chat.
Something happened.
Yeah.
I had gone, and it's just like anything else. Whether he was a good kid or a bad kid, I don't know.
Right.
What I know is this: somebody died in our custody, and he was somebody's kid. And the problem that I had, the detectives told me that they had located the Norbergs in France. We were in touch with them. I called their house immediately and told them who I was. I would be willing to sit down with them personally, go over all the evidence that I had, because I believed that we had done nothing wrong at that point. And then
wow.
I had it set up with the detectives. We would meet with them. They came back to me, and I was told that the Norbergs had canceled that meeting.
Oh,
I found out that it was our own office that had canceled it. Now, I wanted to sit down with them eyeball to eyeball, let them understand that the sheriff's office has nothing to hide. We're here to protect the citizens. Unfortunately, your son died in our custody, and we believe that we did everything correct. Subsequently, I found that we had not.
With subsequent cover-ups and the whole deal, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Norbergs came to me and they called me and they said, Tom, they won't release our son's body from the coroner. I picked up the phone and I called the coroner and I says, why are we not releasing the body? And, you know, naturally, parents, their kid is dead. They want to see what they're going to do, and they have to prepare for whatever they're going to do. So I told them that I wanted the body released to the family. And they called me back in a few minutes and said, okay. I called Mr. Norberg back, told him that they could have somebody come and do it. A pathologist, I think they wanted to do a second autopsy. And again, believing we had nothing to hide.
Isn't that amazing?
It's somebody's child.
Right.
I don't care if it's a grown adult, it's somebody's child.
Right.
And so they were able to do that. What I find amazing is now the larynx that was cracked and even the x-rays of that larynx has disappeared. Those are evidence.
Yeah.
That is evidence. How in the world, and we knew that it was a case that was going to be a major case, and it would be a major lawsuit. We knew that the Norbergs were both attorneys. The sheriff and I talked about that, and he said if they came after him, if they sued him, that he would destroy their son.
That's right.
And that's what he tried to do.
Wow. Wow. That's just, there's so much to discuss about this. All right, jumping ahead a little bit, we talked earlier, somebody made your guy's life miserable, you and your family. After all this stuff, you stood up, and do you want to touch on any of that?
Yeah, I have no problem, and my wife will probably interject some things
Please.
too. But what the situation is, and you have to understand, I loved my job. I loved what I did.
How long were you in law enforcement?
14 years altogether.
Okay.
And I walked away, I didn't retire there, I walked away with nothing, okay, because I couldn't wear that badge again, thinking that I was representing somebody that was doing that.
Right.
Again, I want to make it clear, Ray, I'm not a bleeding heart. I believe if you do the crime, you do the time, and it shouldn't be someplace that's comfortable, because I don't want you back again.
But, didn't mean to interrupt, but you have to be convicted too. A jail
That's right.
is a
That's
holding.
right.
That's right. That's
We
right.
have a constitution.
That's right.
Okay.
And there is a constitution in this country, and we, even in law enforcement, must adhere to
Absolutely.
that above anyone else.
Have to set the standard.
That's right. In addition to that, what happened was Adele and I were very, very down about some of the things that were going on. I had decided that I was going to resign.
Okay.
But before I made that decision, we still had 5 of our 9 children at home. We decided to go away for a while on a vacation with our family because it meant that we had no income coming in.
Okay.
And should I get another job first? Well, Joe found out I was looking for another job, and he came screaming in my office telling me, you don't leave till I tell you to leave.
Wow.
And so I said, when God tells me to leave, I'm gone. At the same time, what happened was he thought he could control everything that we did. We decided to go to Alaska, and I'm a pastor today. I believe in God. I believe in the things that I think are right. My wife and I went to Alaska just as a couple and a family to just pray. Simply, what's the wisest thing to do? Should I stay here and try to fight this? I can't fight. He's got people surrounding him now that are trying to destroy me.
Right.
And so we decided we were going to resign. We did that from Alaska, sending a certified letter, getting it accepted, and at the same time, all of a sudden a criminal investigation has started on me